Do you feel the quiet urgency of a life half-lived? We are all dealt a finite number of days, yet we squander them on trivialities. We experience profound grief, only to be told to distract ourselves. We know our time is precious, yet we give it away for free. The Stoics saw this conflict clearly. They taught that by facing our mortality, confronting our feelings, and fiercely guarding our time, we can craft a life of courage and meaning. Today, let's learn how to stop wasting the life we have left. The cards are dealt. And now you must live the rest of your life according to nature, as if you were already dead, having lived your life. Love only that which has befallen you and been spun for you. What is more fitting than this? Marcus Aurelius, Meditations. We have an irrational fear of accepting the fact of our own mortality. We avoid thinking about it because we believe such thoughts are depressing and burdensome. However, thoughts about our mortality often have the opposite effect. They invigorate us rather than sadden us. Why? Because they provide clarity. If you were told you had a week to live, what would you change? If you died but were resuscitated, how different would your perspective be? If, as Shakespeare's magician Prospero says, we think on death, there is no risk of getting bogged down in trifles and distractions. Let's not deny our fear of death, let it help us become better. Today, don't hide from your feelings. It is better to conquer this feeling of grief than to try to deceive it. Seneca, Consolation to Helvia. This practice of thinking on death gives us clarity, but it also prepares us to face life's most painful realities without flinching. One of the most difficult of these is grief. Everyone has lost loved ones, friends, colleagues, parents. While we were grieving, some people with the best intentions tried their best to distract us for a couple of hours and make us think about something else. No matter how well-intentioned their behavior was, it was mistaken. According to stereotypical notions, Stoics suppress their emotions, but their philosophy is aimed at teaching us to meet our emotions and deal with them immediately, not to run from them. There is a temptation to deceive ourselves or hide from strong emotions like grief, telling ourselves and others that everything is fine. However, awareness and understanding are better. In the short term, it's more pleasant to be distracted. The ancient Romans went to gladiatorial games for this. In the long run, however, it's better to focus. This means dealing with a negative emotion right away, right now. Process and analyze what you feel. Get rid of your expectations and the feeling that an injustice has occurred. Find the positive in the situation. However, stay with the pain and accept it, remembering that it is part of life. This is how grief is conquered. Wasting time. Every bright mind, every head, at least once in its life illuminated by a thought, will never cease to be amazed at this strange darkness of human minds. Indeed, none of us will allow our possessions to be invaded, and if even the slightest dispute about boundaries arises, we will take up stones and weapons, but we allow others to interfere in our lives without hindrance. Moreover, we ourselves invite future masters and managers of our lives. There is no person who wishes to share money with others, yet how many does each give away their own life to? We are vigilant in protecting our paternal inheritance, but when it comes to spending time, we are excessively wasteful, yet this is the only thing in which stinginess is worthy of respect. Seneca, on the shortness of life. Just as we must face our emotions to truly live, we must also confront how we spend our most valuable and finite resource. Today, endless interruptions will arise in your life: phone calls, emails, visitors, unforeseen events. The American writer Booker T. Washington noted, "Practically countless people are ready to waste their time aimlessly." Philosophers know that their default state should be one of reflection and self-awareness. That is why they so diligently protect their personal space and thoughts from the intrusions of the external world. They understand, a few minutes of deep reflection are worth more than any business meeting or progress report. They also know how little time we are actually given in life, and how quickly our reserves can be depleted. Seneca reminds us, we may be excellent at protecting our property, but we are too undisciplined in setting our mental boundaries. Property can be recovered. But time? Time is our most irreplaceable asset. We cannot buy more of it. We can only try to waste as little of it as possible. Don't sell yourself too cheap. No one will be able to take a single day from me without being able to give anything worthy in return for such a loss. Seneca, on tranquility of mind. We are so careless with our time, letting others steal it without a thought. Seneca takes this idea a step further, urging us to think of our time like money. It has long been established that people spend much more when they use plastic cards instead of cash. And if you've ever wondered why banks and credit card companies advertise them so aggressively, this is the reason. The more credit cards you have, the more you will spend. Don't we treat the days of our lives the same way as money? We don't know exactly how many more days we will be alive. We try our best not to think about the fact that we will one day die, so we are quite wasteful with our time. We allow people and obligations to take it from us, only occasionally asking, "What am I getting in return?" Seneca's maxim is equivalent to switching from credit cards to cash. The philosopher says that we need to think about every transaction. Am I getting a return here? Is this a fair deal? Dignity and courage. We despise gladiators, says Cicero, if they strive in every way to save their lives. We applaud them if they openly show contempt for it. Seneca, on tranquility of mind. So we guard our time, we face our feelings, and we live with our mortality in mind. What does this life look like in action? It is a life of dignity and courage. It is the opposite of a life lived in fear. Lyndon Johnson's college classmates told a shameful story about him. Johnson was a braggart and felt the need to constantly dominate and intimidate. But his biographer Robert Corrow makes it clear, when someone stood up to the young Lyndon, he revealed himself to be a true coward. Once, during an argument over poker, Johnson didn't get into a fight but threw himself on the bed and began to flail his legs wildly in the air, like a little girl. He yelled, "If you hit me, I'll kick you. If you hit me, I'll kick you." Later, Johnson actively tried to avoid military service during World War II and partied in California while others fought and died in Europe, Africa, and Southeast Asia. He later claimed to have been a war hero, one of his most disgraceful lies. One should not neglect one's own safety or resort to violence to prove one's courage. But no one respects cowards. No one likes slackers who shirk their duties. No one admires people who place their personal comfort and needs too highly. This is the irony of cowardice. It aims at self-protection, but it creates shameful secrets. Self-preservation is hardly worth such problems. Be brave. Be dignified. The cards are dealt. Our time is short. Our emotions are real. And our character is defined by our courage. This is the Stoic path to a life of substance. It is a life where we don't hide, we don't waste, and we don't cower. It is a life lived on purpose, with dignity. If you are ready to stop selling yourself short and start living a life of courage, I invite you to subscribe to our channel. A heartfelt thank you to our partners, whose support makes this content possible. Exploring their offerings is a wonderful way to help our community thrive. Let's live bravely, together.